All right, welcome to the latest Inside Lacrosse Google Plus Hangout. This time we are live with Chesapeake Bayhawk defenseman, two-time MLL Defensive Player of the Year, former U.S. team player, and one of the most notable dynamic characters in the game, Nicky Polanco. How you doing, man?
Doing well, John. Doing well. Good to see you, pal.
You as well. It's been a long time. Glad to have you on the broadcast here. We are excited looking ahead to this weekend's MLL playoffs. You guys will be playing the Hamilton Nationals 4 o'clock on Saturday from PPL Park in Chester, Pennsylvania, in the second game of the day live on CBS Sports. Defending your last year MLL title, what's kind of the makeup of the team, the mindset of the team right now heading into the playoffs?
I think, we haven't seen each other, obviously, in about 2 weeks now since the last game. We focused on finishing the regular season the right way, which we did. We're only able to either, no practice, obviously, so, via email, back and forth, texting each other. But it's really, as a veteran, between myself, Brian, the older guys in the team, just focusing on the next part of the season now. The next part of the season is championship weekend, and, 2 games in 2 days. You have to be the best to beat the best. Bottom line is focusing on what happened during the regular season is over now, whether you did well or not. Now, you got to get ready to go for championship weekend. So it's the second part of the season, and this is where it all happens.
You've been playing this league since 2004. You've won in this league. You've won titles. What is the key to that playoff scenario? As you mentioned, back-to-back games is tough. It's a whole different world in the playoffs. I think that anybody will say that any of these 4 teams can win it. What's the key to being successful and handling that back-to-back setup successfully?
I think we focus at 1 game at a time. Not thinking about how it's 2 games in 2 days, and being a later game, you get less than 24 hours rest. It's not about that. It's focusing on Hamilton right now. What we did well against them, what we didn't do well. We're going to get to practice Thursday. I know that our whole team has been watching film. We've had cut-up film for the last week and a half. Knowing our guys, they've dissected it in and out. Know their tendencies defensively, at least, and offensively see what worked against them and not. But the focus is doing what we do. Our theme this year is the chase. As you can see, ironically, I'm wearing the shirt. I just finished training, so this has been this is a shirt that Coach Cottle ended up. That was our theme this year. Is not chasing to be the best, chasing the cup, not defending the cup. It's more chasing to be the best we can possibly be, 1 game at a time. And this weekend, again, it's going to be 1 game at a time. We are an older group with some young guys, but the bottom line is, whether we're first, second, third, I don't get caught up with the seeds. I don't care if we're second seed, we get to play 3. 4th seed, we still have to beat Denver, we still have to beat Charlotte, and we still have to go through Hamilton, depending on who's going to be in front of us. So it's 1 game at a time, and need to bring that passion. So.
Nice. Well, yeah. Let's talk about that 1 game, then Hamilton, and just maybe their offense real quick. How you guys defensively match up. Offensive Player of the Year, Kevin Crowley's had a huge season for them. Joe Walters, great as always. Stephen Keogh, Cody Jamieson seem to have a lot of guys who can put the ball in the net, and Kevin Cunningham, kind of a breakout player as well. What's going to be the key to defending that group, and what have you seen out of them so far this year?
I definitely think they're a dynamic group. They're definitely one of a kind. I mean, they started off doing really well. People said, "Oh, they fell off." I don't think they fell off. I think that they have a game plan. These guys have been playing lacrosse since they were born, and they have a phenomenal coaching staff. Just organization as a whole. You can't not respect them. They can come out on any given day and put up 22 goals, in a blink of an eye. They could be down by 10 goals and they've come back. I mean, you can't. They're led by one of the best to ever play, Brody Merrill. He's the heart and soul of that team, and to have a guy like that with the other guys on the team to follow. I mean, the names you just said, offensively, these guys are studs. I mean, they used to shoot an indoor 4x4 net. They come outside and it's like a joke to them. Man up, man down. You have to be careful not to foul them. They're really physical, which we obviously like in our style of play defensively with the Hawks. But you have to be careful not to foul, because if you do, they're going to score. They do play that 2-man game. I feel like we have to play them outside a little bit, put a little pressure on them. I feel like we are more athletic. People say they're not an athletic team. I feel like we are more athletic, but they are an extremely athletic team. You can't look down. They're going to look to run up and down the field on us as well. So I mean, listen, they're here for a reason. and you got to take them. They're the best team right now in front of us. That's what we have to go through. So.
Nice. What can you tell us about the make of the defense and kind of what makes you guys tick? It's kind of an eclectic group with you and Brian have played together and known each other for a long time, and Mike Evans kind of being a little bit younger, but maybe in the middle of some of those younger guys like Mike Simon and Barney Ehrman, and like the other long sticks there. What's kind of the style? What's the style that you guys play with? What's kind of your mantra back there as a defensive unit? In front of Kip in goal.
I think we're, I feel like we complement each other real well. We have a good mix. People say we're a very old group. Brian and I are the older guys. Then you have Michael and then Barney, and now we even have Jesse. Jesse Bernhardt, who's played tremendous. He's came right into this league and has made an impression on everybody. He really is a stud. And he's going to have a great career. And then Mike Simon as well, a tall, athletic guy. He'd be able to run up and down. I mean, this lineup is unbelievable. I mean, if you think about some of those names and athleticism and defensive knowledge. I mean, but I think that we complement each other real well. We all bring something different, whether it's character, physicality, smart, the brains. I mean, whatever it might be, we all have one common goal, and that's to be the best. We came in second this year defensively, which obviously we're let down as a defensive unit, but it's fine. We move on. We have a chance to be the best this weekend. I think that our thought process is, and coaches coaches told us all year is just. Take care of your matchup first. You take care of your matchup, and then everything else will fall through. We've had some hiccups where we lost a few games in overtime, some games where we probably should have been better, matched up a little bit better. But it's fine. Again, you start off with our matchup, focus on our matchup now, and then you help out defensively. The rest of the 6-on-6 and sliding and being vocal and whatnot. So.
Well, what's been the evolution of your career? I guess maybe what's been the key to having lasted so long in the Major League Lacrosse and still thriving at this point in your career with another team in a new area?
I feel like the biggest thing, your rookies. I mean, I always say my piece of advice to a young guy who's really passionate and excited and who really wants to be there and not feels like they're supposed to be there. There's a big difference. A lot of guys do well in college and they feel like they're supposed to go to the MLL and supposed to do well. Like you either have it or you don't. I mean, I feel like a lot of D2 and D3 guys, or lower D1 guys actually. Last longer because I feel like they maybe are not burned out like some of the young, the big top 10 Division I schools. I think those guys are studs. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like those guys come in and out, for some reason. I think that it's all about staying in shape because in college you're forced to stay in shape. You're in the weight room, you're training, you're practicing 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week. Now when you come into the real world, you get a job, now you're working long days, and how much do you really care? How much does it matter to you to strap that helmet on, put that jersey on, and really get after it and bang heads for 60 minutes? If you're truly passionate about it, then you're going to go work out. You're going to sacrifice. I mean, Brian and I live 4 houses away from each other, Spleen, and anybody will tell you, him and I, we get after it. Both obviously practicing and then training with each other. Competing against each other, constantly challenging ourselves every day. We have a family. I have a wife with a 2-year-old and a 6, and she's 6 weeks out right now. My second child. Ryan has 2 kids. So we sacrifice time from our family. We come home from work and we go train. Sometimes I don't get a chance to see my son and my wife as much as I like to, but the passion is still there that we want to be the best and play and be on top of our game. And in order to play in this league and last this long, you have to be in shape. These guys last them out of college are in shape, and then second and third years when they sort of fall off, depending on how much they care about it. So to me, you have to sacrifice. You have to put the time in to practice. We don't get a chance to 5 days a week, so you have to run on your own, train on your own, watch film, and be ready to go when you get to come to practice. So.
Are there any? I can't imagine your neighbors and those couple neighbors in between you and Brian. It's got to be a fun spot for them.
Everybody says the neighborhood's going to change once we both moved in here, but I think it's changed for the better, and it's been pretty fun. He borrows more milk and eggs from me, and I might borrow some lawn equipment and some tools from him. So it's a good spot, good situation.
In terms of training, you've always been pretty interesting guy to follow on the training side with the former. Some of the in the ring stuff that you were doing, appearing on our cover back in the day. What is kind of the latest training stuff that you're focusing on? Maybe especially during the season. Stuff that a kid out there watching might be able to do on his own or her own. The kind of stuff that are the little things that you do training wise that you think are key.
Right. I feel that, as, again, I've been playing for a long time, many years now. I tried different things. I always wanted to have a competitive edge. I always wanted to be quicker, stronger, faster than everybody on the field. So from, power strength training with Joe DeFranco, who trains a lot of the NFL guys in Jersey, to the MMA boxing for years with Keith Trimble and Belmore, the MMA style with the plyometrics. Now, I'm into the CrossFit, and it's been a big craze lately. People have been talking about it. Drink the Kool-Aid. All you talk about is the CrossFit lingo terms. And to be honest, I modify it, but at this point in my career, I'm the old guy. I mean, I just turned 33 on Sunday, but I feel phenomenal. It's a different way of training. Obviously, I want to train, so I can, not kill myself. I want to be able to work out the next day and be able to perform in the weekend. But this CrossFit, I go to CrossFit Massapequa. We have a great group of guys there, and they understand our game and our sport, and all our workouts are tailored to our game. It's complete muscle confusion. It's constant moving, pushing yourself to a limit. You're never plateauing, and to me, it's great for our sport. Brian and I came in phenomenal shape this year, and it's, I know, knock on wood, I had one small injury this year, but nothing that was, at this point, again, being an old guy in the field, I felt like my legs were under me. I felt really good. So CrossFit has been great for me. Yeah.
Nice. Well, it's good to hear. I've heard a lot of guys doing that. It definitely sounds like it's been huge for a lot of guys, especially some of the guys who have been around for a while. And happy birthday, by the way, belated.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, appreciate it. Yeah.
Let's go back to some of the other veterans on the team. I mean, John Grant. Between you, Brian, John Grant, and Casey Powell, those are four pretty legendary names in the game overall, and especially Major League Lacrosse. What's it been like, especially maybe for you on the defensive end, seeing John and Casey coming at you at practice and being able to watch them at the offensive end on your team?
I think it's tremendous. I mean, these are the guys from the old mold, where the original guys like, myself, Brian, Junior, and Casey, we've battled against each other. I mean, it's unbelievable, the things that, we used to say to each other, do to each other on the field. Compete. The respect has always been there from day one, and still is more than ever. But to be able to watch them continue to still do well, from those two guys being roommates in indoor down in Denver to now us being together, it truly is like it's unbelievable to me. I mean, I just, again, people say we're older, and it's these guys are still doing it. They're still making it happen. So you can't really say too much. I'm looking for a picture here. We went to dinner not too long ago. I don't know if you can see it here. And this is what is the camera here? The camera's up here. Hold on. If you look up close, you'll see a picture of me, myself, Junior, Brian, Casey, and Jesse Bernhardt's there, which we said is Casey Powell's son. It looks like. We said that's a pretty pretty cool table to have. We sat back, we reminisced a lot, and just talking about it, and it's wild. I mean, I respect those guys. Again, like they're like my brothers, and to be able to play with them, it's a complete honor. And hopefully we take the cup. I mean, with the experience, with the young legs that we have on the team, it's really it's a wild situation.
Any good stories you remember from defending those guys back in the early days of the MLO when you were starting out, 04, 05, 06? Yeah,
Junior keeps on bringing up the one time. I ended up, I don't know what I did. I probably stripped him and, made him put his head down. He pouted for a little while, but I had my head down on one play, and he got me good. He definitely hit me, and he put me on my butt, and it was a good play. I definitely tested him. He got me good, and I wanted to get him after that, and I couldn't the rest of the game, and it killed me. It still kills me today. Maybe I'll hit him this Thursday in practice, bring it up again. But Junior and I used to battle, from indoor, outdoor, both. And again, I've always respected him. I never told him that when I was playing him. I told him the opposite. But deep down inside, I always respected him, shook hands at the end. And Casey was just, to me, everyone asked you who's one of the best guys you ever had to cover. And when I was a rookie, Casey was it, and he still is a stud. The guy's unbelievable to play against. He's probably, definitely, most challenging guy to cover overall because he's so dynamic. I mean, he's got so many different weapons in the arsenal. Now, whether his legs are not like they used to be, he still could run. But more importantly, he views the field and sees the field a lot more than he ever has, and it's pretty amazing to watch him play. I mean, he wows me even once in a while, so it's cool.
What is the biggest difference, do you think, from now to when you started in the league back in the early 2000s?
I feel like physically the kids are, the guys are getting bigger and stronger. and definitely faster. Even the guys who are a little bit, smaller on the field, they're still quick and fast. And I don't think it's necessarily me getting older and maybe slower. I really see the speed of the game is really that's the biggest thing that the college guys have to get used to. The biggest adjustment is the speed of the game. But these guys, everybody's getting bigger, stronger, faster. I mean, look at our team. I mean, look at our offense. The defensemen used to be the bigger guys. Now it's myself. You have Mike Simon, Barney Ehrman. Those guys, they're both taller than me. And then you have Brian and Michael, who are the smaller guys, and Jesse, but they're still strong, quick, and fast. Then you look at our offense, which is crazy. I mean, Kyle Dixon, 6'4", Ben Hunt, 6'6", Matty Abbott, who's back and forth guy, 6'3", 6'4". These guys are all tremendous. Kimball's a little guy, but he's an explosive, bomb little guy. And Brooksy too is another strong, powerful guy. These guys are all they might be one on the team back in the day compared to now. Now they're all on one team, and it's pretty, remarkable to see where the sport's going. From Florida, Texas, California, these big country boys who play football in the fall, they're all playing lacrosse now, and it's, I'm happy I'm retiring in a couple of years.
Well, yeah. So you got a couple of years left, or what is kind of or is that game by game, day by day? What's kind of the plan?
You know what? I mean, it's all about peaks and valleys at this point. I mean, some games, this year I wasn't happy with. I felt like I was a little banged up, but yeah, I feel like everybody plays with injuries, and I wasn't happy with a few of the games this year. Early on, I felt great, a little banged up, but I feel great as long as I can run, as long as Coach Cottle and BK and the organization will allow me to come back. I'm extremely happy here. I love the guys in the team. I love playing for them and going to battle with them every single weekend. Otherwise I wouldn't leave my family and sacrifice and put the time in. But as long as I feel good. Another couple of years, no problem.
Yeah, why don't you take us back to, I think it was maybe a shock to a lot of people that when you left Long Island to the then Long Island Lizards to come down to the Bayhawks, beginning of last year, and then ended up winning a title last year with the Bayhawks. But how did that kind of transpire, and what's it been like since that transition to a different team and a whole different area, and everything it's involved with playing for Coach Cottle and Brendan Kelly as owner?
Yeah, well, it's pretty wild that I've always used to, my whole life being a Long Island guy, would not like anybody from Maryland. And I didn't even like the state. I didn't like Maryland at all. I didn't like anything to do with Baltimore. From Nassau Community College, my coach used to, program us to hate Essex and Anne Arundel and anything to do with, and then into Hofstra, playing against Hopkins and Loyola and all these schools. We just didn't like them. We felt like lacrosse started here and we were the best. And now I'm playing in Maryland. I'm a true Long Island guy at heart, which you can hear in my accent. But I never thought I'd be there. I really didn't. I thought I was going to retire at Long Island, and and it's okay. I had a great experience in Long Island. I loved being a Lizard at the time. Jim Ulay, Ray Suris, these guys. I mean, they were great to me. The organization obviously, had some changes, some new people are around, and they felt like they wanted to, change the dynamics of the team. They wanted to, make it a little bit younger, or whatever it may be. We were, Brian and I were a little bit older, and they felt that, this is what I was told, and they felt that they wanted, I didn't know my place at the time. I didn't want to go into a season at this point in my career not knowing, where the organization was at. And, at that point I said, what, let me, maybe it's just time for a change. And there's nothing wrong, again, nothing wrong with a change. They were looking to change a little bit, and so was I. We didn't win after a couple of years. I felt like we probably could have or should have. And, I felt like moving on, would have been, clean slate, clean, fresh start for the fourth quarter of my career. And Brian ended up getting there first. And then they ended up, Coach Cottle did whatever he can to get me there, which I'm extremely thankful for. And after that, being around BK, from the top and all the way down with Cottle and Brian Reese at the time, and Coach Tony Resch, who I'll get to in a second. And then the rest of the players, the guys who I used to, have words with and make fun of and torture and used to go at it. It was instant. It was a click right then and there. They were, skilled guys from Baltimore. Coach wanted to bring Brian and I to shake things up a little bit and maybe callous those guys a little bit. And I feel like, these guys, every single one of them, I'll do anything for. And I can't believe how fast you would just feel that way. It's not just playing lacrosse. We keep in touch every single day, all day, off season. I'm still waiting for Kimmel's invitation for his wedding, which I'm a little disappointed at that he invited me. I expected to be in the wedding, but Brian and I are a little upset about that. But Dixon's getting married, so hopefully he'll invite me. But just, I feel like there's so much in common. I mean, they really are. These group of guys, I'll never forget. Last year's championship was unbelievable. I'm hoping obviously to do it again, but I can't forget last year. The staff, the organization is so professional. It's such a classy organization. So I'm definitely truly blessed and really happy to be part of it.
Nice. And I know you got to go in a sec here to put down your little guy, but you mentioned Tony Resch real quick, and not sure if you wanted to expand on Tony. Now, I know he's a legendary coach in this game, and your former coach from the Barrage days.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I feel like as a defenseman, not just in this league, but even just growing up playing defense, you always get the second or third best coach, I feel like. You feel like you get somebody's father who wants to just help out, and they coach the defense. It's always an offensive coach doing whatever, and I feel like I've been very blessed myself with coaches. Coach Pat, my brother alone, Mondo, my father teaching me, giving me the foundation of who I am, and then my brother fine-tuning and putting lacrosse stick in my hand, and then Coach Sean Keenan, who was an offensive guy who just took his time with me because I started off playing midfield. But then George Powers. George Powers to me in Nassau was one of the best coaches I've ever had, and then I go into Tony Resch. And Tony Resch, with Joe Amplo and Billy Wilson too. I've had actually too. I'm sorry, I have to definitely mention them. But and playing in pro, you're lucky to get a great coach, and then to have a great coach and then a great defensive coach, Coach Resch, who puts time in with you. And I'm still learning. Like, that's one thing I could say. I'm still learning at this point in my career. My education wheels, they're still spinning. I'm still learning. I'm watching film. I'm learning what to do, what not to do still. And having Coach Resch there is tremendous. He's extremely successful. Great guy, more importantly. I respect the hell out of him. But we really are, fortunate. And I hope the young guys on the team, I try and tell them all the time to just really take in as much as you can. You don't know how long it's going to last. Take in as much as you can to have them around. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it pays off this year. We'll get a W. We'll get a W both games. And, I think that next week, I didn't realize next week's the USA team trial. So that's another experience. But looking forward to it.
Never stops, huh? Like I said, I know you got to go, but one last question that I like to ask everybody is just kind of one tip for kids out there, for young, in your case, probably defensive players who might be watching you and wanting to play like you one day. What's kind of one tip that you like to give kids to get better on their own, to kind of get to the level that you're at?
At first, just find that will to win, find that passion inside, and just run with it. To me, especially as a defenseman, we don't really have any stats. I feel like the kids who recognize me and who might know me, they know me because the kids aren't stupid either. They know me because of the passion that I play with, and I feel like the excitement. I'm just excited all the time. I love to just play. I love to compete. And anything I do, anything I play, I'm excited for this weekend. I can't stop thinking about it. If you have that inside, you run with it and use it. Constantly let that be your, the fire that keeps you going. And even on your bad days, your ups and downs, you're gonna have peaks and valleys. But the whole practice thing, people say practice. I like to say practice what you're uncomfortable doing. Like, don't, everybody, offensive guys can shoot on the run. I mean, shoot standing still, at a net with no gloves on. Put your gloves on, shoot on the run. You're gonna get tired. Shoot on the run. Do things that you're not comfortable with. Defensively, make those overs. Throw those over passes, not just a 5-yard pass. Run around, move your feet, work on ground balls. Do things that you're not comfortable doing. Play a position that you're not comfortable doing, so you know that in case a coach calls on you. So practice what you're uncomfortable doing. Find that passion. Use that passion. Run. As a defenseman, we're the heart and soul of the team, and we have to be contagious to the rest of the team. So it starts with us. And the last thing, invest in the jump rope. Best investment you can ever do. Young kids growing into their bodies. Jump rope as much as possible, and you'll be able to keep up with all the fast and quick ones.
Nice. Well, excellent advice. Nicky, we can't thank you enough for the time tonight. It's been great. Once again, the MLL semifinals, Saturday, 1 o'clock is the first game on ESPN2. The second game will be the Chesapeake Bayhawks and the Hamilton Nationals at 4 o'clock, CBS Sports. We wish you guys the best of luck, and thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you so much, John. Anytime, pal. You guys are great.
Nice.